Do you remember the internet in 2010? I want you to close your eyes for a second and really go back there. Think about the texture of it. Think about the chaos. It felt alive. It was the Wild West. It was a place of unpolished, raw humanity. When you posted a video on YouTube back then, it was grainy. It was shaky. It was just you in your bedroom talking to a webcam. And when you looked at the comments, you absolutely knew that somewhere on the other side of the world, a real human being was sitting at a keyboard typing a response. Maybe they were laughing at you. Maybe they were angry. Maybe they were trolling you. But they were real. Their anger had a pulse. Their laughter had a voice. The internet of that era was a forest. It was dangerous, yes. It was messy, absolutely. But it was an ecosystem built on human connection. We were all explorers in a new digital continent, shouting across the void and hearing real echoes come back to us. But today something feels off, doesn't it? Open your phone right now, look at your feed. What do you see? Everything looks cleaner, everything looks sharper. The videos are high definition, the captions are perfectly formatted, the hashtags are optimized. But underneath that shiny surface, there is a hollow feeling, a sense of eerie silence masked by loud noise. Have you noticed the comments lately? Scroll through Instagram, scroll through TikTok. What do you see? Great post. Fire emoji. Check my bio. This is amazing. Thousands upon thousands of comments, but none of them say anything. They are repetitive. They are generic. They feel like placeholders. Have you noticed how trends seem to appear out of thin air? One day, nobody is talking about a specific topic. The next day, it is everywhere. Millions of posts, millions of tweets, all using the exact same keywords, the exact same phrases, the exact same outrage. It feels forced. It feels synthetic. And deep down, you have this nagging suspicion, a paranoia that you can't quite articulate. You feel like you are walking through a crowded city, but everyone around you is wearing a mask. You feel like you are screaming into a crowd, but no one is turning their head to look at you. What if I told you that your paranoia is justified? What if I told you that the bustling metropolis of billions of minds that we call the internet is actually a ghost town? What if I told you that the majority of traffic, the majority of likes, the majority of clicks, and the majority of arguments aren't human anymore? This isn't a science fiction story. This isn't a dystopian novel. This is a reality backed by data, by whistleblowers, and by the cold, hard logic of capitalism. This is called the dead internet theory. And in this series, I am going to prove to you, step by step, that the World Wide Web has become the worldwide graveyard. To understand where we are, we have to understand how we got here. We have to look at the architecture of the deception. And to do that, we need to travel back in time, not to the internet age, but to the 18th century, to Imperial Russia. There is a story about a man named Grigory Potemkin. He was a minister and a lover of Empress Catherine the Great. The story goes that when the Empress decided to tour the newly acquired Crimea region, Potemkin wanted to impress her. He wanted to show her that the region was thriving, that it was populated by happy, wealthy villagers. But the reality was grim. The region was desolate. It was poor. So Potemkin devised a plan. He constructed fake villages along the riverbanks where the Empress's barge would pass. These weren't real towns. They were facades, just wooden fronts held up by beams. He hired actors to dress up as happy peasants, to smile and wave as the boat went by. He moved herds of cattle from one village to the next during the night, so the Empress would see the same cows over and over again and think the land was rich with livestock. From the river, it looked like paradise. It looked like a booming civilization. But if the Empress had stepped off the boat, if she had walked just 10 yards behind those wooden fronts, she would have seen the truth. She would have seen the barren wasteland. She would have seen the rotten wood and the empty space. Ladies and gentlemen, the internet today is the largest Potemkin village in human history. You are the Empress on the boat. Your smartphone screen is the window of that barge. And everything you see scrolling past you. Let's look at the numbers, because numbers don't lie, even if the accounts do. In 2023, a report by the cybersecurity firm Imperva revealed a shocking statistic. They analyzed billions of requests across the global web. Their conclusion? Nearly half, 49.6%, of all internet traffic is non-human. Let that sink in for a moment. Half. Imagine walking into a crowded stadium to watch a concert. There are 50,000 people in the seats. They are cheering, they are clapping, they are singing along. Now, Imagine putting on a special pair of glasses that reveals the truth. Suddenly, you realize that 25,000 of those seats are occupied by mannequins with speakers taped to their mouths. That is the state of our digital world. But honestly, that 50% figure is optimistic. That is just the bot traffic we can detect. That counts the dumb bots, the web scrapers, the DDoS attackers. It doesn't count the new generation, the AI-powered agents that can mimic human behavior so perfectly that they pass unnoticed. Some experts believe that on certain platforms, especially on Twitter, now X, and in the comment sections of major news sites, the ratio of human to bot activity has already tipped. They believe we are already the minority. Think about the implications of that. We assume by default that user equals human. When we see a username like Patriot76 or CryptoKing99, our brain automatically imagines a person behind that screen. We imagine a guy sitting on his couch or a woman waiting for the bus. We project humanity onto the pixels. But the dead internet theory challenges that fundamental assumption. It argues that the user is no longer a person. The user is a script. The user is a line of code running in a server farm in St. Petersburg, or Beijing, or a nondescript warehouse in Ohio. These server farms are the engine rooms of the dead internet. If you could step inside one, you wouldn't see people. You would see racks upon racks of smartphones, thousands of them, wired together on metal shelves. Their screens are glowing in the dark, scrolling, liking, commenting, watching videos, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There is no one touching them. They are controlled by a central computer. One person sitting at a desk with a cup of coffee can control 10,000 of these phones. With a single click, they can make 10,000 people angry about a movie. With a single click, they can make 10,000 people love a new politician. With a single click, they can destroy a reputation or build an empire. This is not organic growth. This is synthetic engineering. And we are the lab rats living inside their experiment. But why? Why would they do this? What is the point of filling the internet with ghosts? The answer, as always, is money and power. In the early days of the web, the metric for success was unique visitors. We wanted to know how many actual eyeballs were looking at a page. But as the internet became the center of the global economy, the metrics changed. We started caring about engagement. Advertisers didn't just want to know that you saw an ad. They wanted to know that users were interacting, liking, sharing, commenting. Engagement became the currency of the digital realm. And whenever something becomes a currency, people will find a way to counterfeit it. If you are a social media platform, say Facebook or Reddit or TikTok, your stock price depends on showing growth. You need to show your investors that your user base is expanding. You need to show that people are addicted to your app. Now imagine you hit a ceiling. Imagine that every human who wants to join your app has already joined. Growth slows down. Investors get nervous. Stock prices drop. What do? Well, you don't mind if a few million fake accounts slip through the cracks, do you? In fact, maybe you optimize your algorithms to count them as active users. Maybe you turn a blind eye to the bot farms because they inflate your numbers. They make your Potemkin Village look busy. It is a symbiotic relationship between the platforms and the bots. The bots provide the illusion of growth, and the platforms provide the stage for the bots to perform. And caught in the middle of this massive, multi-billion-dollar fraud is us, the remaining humans. We are the only ones who don't know the game is rigged. We are the ones getting emotional over a comment written by an algorithm. We are the ones changing our political views because we think everyone feels a certain way. We are the ones feeling depressed because our photos didn't get enough likes, not realizing that the game was never designed for us to win. But the corruption goes deeper than just fake likes. It goes into the very content itself. Do you remember the ElsaGate scandal? It was a strange phenomenon that started surfacing around 2016 on YouTube Kids. Parents started noticing that their children were watching bizarre, nonsensical videos. They featured popular characters like Spider-Man, Elsa from Frozen, the Hulk, and Mickey Mouse. But the videos weren't made by Disney. They were crude animations, and the scripts made no sense. They were just random collections of high-ranking keywords. Elsa learns colors. Spider-Man eats candy. Hulk goes to the doctor. Sometimes these videos would take dark turns. They would show the characters getting injected with needles, or losing limbs, or engaging in gross toilet humor. Millions of views, billions of views. Who was making these? And more importantly, who was watching them? It turns out, Humans weren't making them. Algorithms were. Bot programs were scanning YouTube to see what kids were searching for. They saw Elsa and syringe and colors were trending. So they automatically generated videos that mashed these concepts together. No human storyboarded it. No human directed it. It was a machine vomiting out content to satisfy the search parameters of another machine. And the viewers? A mix of hypnotized toddlers left in front of iPads and other bots. Bots watching bot content to generate ad revenue for bot creators. A perfect closed loop of value extraction where no human consciousness is required. ElsaGate was the canary in the coal mine. It was the first major warning sign that the internet was starting to run on autopilot. It showed us that if you take humans out of the loop, the internet doesn't stop. It just gets weird. It gets dark. It becomes a hallucination. And now, fast forward to today. That same logic that created those weird Spider-Man videos has been applied to everything. It has been applied to journalism. It has been applied to art. It has been applied to political discourse. We are no longer just watching weird cartoons. We are reading news articles written by AI that are summarizing other articles written by AI. We are arguing with chatbots that are trained on arguments from other chatbots. The snake is eating its own tail. In the next part of this series, we are going to dive into the technical collapse. We are going to talk about the Ouroboros effect and how artificial intelligence is currently poisoning the very data it needs to survive. We will look at how the human element is being systematically scrubbed from the web and how we are being trained to act like robots to survive in a robot's world. If you are a real human and you want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Do not let the algorithm hide the truth from you. Thank you for watching. I love you.